Welcome back to Drive Station. I got some bad news. So, as you can see, probably not that well on camera, but someone has crashed into the back door of the Audi.
From the shoulders, get off. Caught my first fade from Sadiq. It's a dime, took an L, but it's cool. Wasn't scared, so I'm fine. Ain't no looking like a bitch in front of dad and my mom, huh?
I don't know how well you can see it on the camera because it's a white car, probably hard to see. But yeah, there's definitely damage and the door definitely needs to be replaced because it's an aluminium door and well, it's cracked and everything like that. So I'm not gonna even bother to attempt to fix this. The worst thing about this is that this part here, the inside, it's all creased up and bent. But today I'm not gonna worry about this. We're probably gonna bring this to a shop to get it done without any filler or painting. Just try to remove the dent using the paintless dent removal. 100% I'm gonna replace the door. And here is our new door. Well, second hand, but the color is exactly the same. I think it's even the same paint code. There isn't any damage as far as I can see. The only difference between this one and the one that's on it is this piece here. This has the shadow line and my one has chrome. So I think we're just gonna take this off and put it on that door. I think we might need to change the handle because mine has the lights here and underneath. I'm not too sure if this one does. Oh, I think it does. So yeah, even the door handle is the same. So the only thing that I will have to change is the actual chrome piece and obviously all the insides of the door, like all the plastics, the door locks and such. So how did this actually happen? I was driving on the main road and I was gonna pull in to a car park. I was waiting for a few cars to pass, showing my indicator, waiting for all the cars to pass, and then once they passed, I started turning into the car park and there was someone else that wanted to leave the car park, and it was a sunny day, but after the crash when we stepped out, they said that they didn't see me at all, but I guess it's possible. But it was in the shade, there was trees around and everything like that. Maybe they got a little bit blinded by the sun, but the most important thing is that no one got hurt and well, it's fixable. So I got paid from the actual insurance of the person who was at fault. And here in my country, you get the choice. Either bring it to a garage to get it fixed, or you can get the money and fix it yourself. So obviously, I chose to fix it myself. So I think what we're gonna do is get this door fully dismantled, take off all the plastics, all the locks, everything that needs to come off it, take it off, put it to the side so it's as light as it can be. And once it's fully stripped down, what we'll do is put the door on while it's empty and then just fit everything back on. And then as I said, we'll leave it at that. That inner bit I want to get repaired as well because well, even though you can't see it when the door is closed, I know it's there and it'll annoy me. So we're gonna let the professionals take care of that so we don't have to use any filler, paint or anything like that. Also, after owning the car for a while, don't know if you've seen the first videos, but as you know, we have the problem with the actual LEDs in the taillight. I've got another taillight, so we'll replace the actual taillight itself. And then they are getting quite foggy, so we're gonna have to dry them out and put some silicone around it so moisture doesn't get inside, but that's gonna be left for another video. We'll get all the lights out, we'll replace the one that's not working, seal them off, dry them up so they don't get wet, and then maybe we'll add some tint on them. Also, I need to figure out where water is getting in to the driver's footwell. Pretty sure it's going in through the sunroof, because when it rains, water is coming down through here and into the floor. And I have another issue that I found. The keyless entry isn't working when you hold the key fob to close the windows when they're opened or open the windows when they're closed. That function doesn't work. I've put a scanner on it and something is up with the comfort block, so I'm guessing water is getting in the footwell and it's damaged something there. So all of them things are to come. Today we're just gonna get this door fixed. Maybe we'll take a look at the sunroof if it's something simple. And then once the door is fixed, the lights are fixed, the leaking is fixed, the keyless entry and everything is fixed, we can finally move on, get an intake on it, get an exhaust on it, some new wheels, maybe I'll order some side skirts, front lip, rear diffuser, and get this car tuned and looking well. Also, I have some great news. The Nissan finally sold. After 3-4 months of owning it, it finally sold. I didn't get as much as I wanted. The budget has dropped down a little bit, but soon, in the next maybe few weeks, we'll continue back up with 500 to a supercar. The budget at the minute is 900 euros. So the Nissan wasn't a good deal. We lost some money, but I guess we're better off than we started, because we started with 500, we're at 900 now. Hopefully I can buy 1 or 2 cars with 900, fix them up, and then we can sell them, turning a profit and getting closer to the supercar. Let's get this door changed, and that'll be enough for today. Then in the next video, like I said, we'll probably tackle the sunroof, the lights, and all them other bits. Another thing that I want to get done to the Audi is do a full respray on it, because as you can see, it has little rust spots on this arch, and just everywhere around the car there's all little scratches, nicks and dings and everything like that. I want the car to be perfect, so I think we're gonna do a full respray on it. I'm thinking of going black on the roof, then just do white, maybe add a pearl into it, and get a front lip, side skirts, rear diffuser, and maybe a spoiler on the boot. And I think that will look absolutely great. And when the tune is done with the intake, the exhaust, yeah, this will be just a perfect daily until we get something even better. So yeah, now you know all the plans, what we're gonna do with this car, when we're gonna do it. Enough of me yapping and yapping. Let's get this door put on. Okay, so we started removing the 3 screws that the actual panel is held on with. After 3 screws were removed, it was basically just clips, so just pulled right off.
Man, 'cause I know he is. Oh, Lord, it's about time. Get that bread, I'm about mine.
After pulling off the panel, there was the actual handle cable connected to it and a few electrical cables. Once I got the panel off, then we started removing everything underneath the panel. Started off with this black panel that was held in with glue. Once that was removed, I started disconnecting all the cables. First we had this module.
Did it on my own, ain't no team with me. I got green to see. What's a greenery? Might break a heart, ain't no leaving me. Plus I got some things to see.
Then we disconnected the door lock cable.
I was born in California, if it ain't the better watch out for the essays. We were skipping class.
Pulled out all the wires because we need to get this wiring loom out. Disconnected the speaker and unbolted it as well. It was held on by 3 screws as well.
Now I'm limitless. Learn the game, turn my pain into dividends. Oh Lord, it's about time. Get that bread, I'm about mine. I call truce, it's just fine. Still got
Then we undone the regulator motor.
it's about time. Get that bread, I'm about mine. I call truce, it's
Then I realized that I had a Milwaukee and I was doing everything by hand. Okay, so to remove this wiring loom here, we need to disconnect it from the actual car and then feed it back in through the door, and hopefully we can get all these wires out. We unclipped the actual connection to the car, then I fed it in back through the door. Alright, so the speaker is out, the module is out, the window motor is out. Now we have to actually get the regulator off. The window is held on by a little clip here. So we'll remove this clip to detach the window from the actual regulator. Then we can remove these 2 bolts here and then press in these 3. And hopefully through this hole we can fit the window regulator out. Once that is done, the only thing we'll be left with is the actual lock. And then I think once the lock is removed, that will be pretty much it. Now, there was actually 2 clips that held on the actual window. Once I removed them clips, well, at the start I only removed 1 clip. And once they were removed, we could remove the actual window from the regulator, and I could take then the whole regulator out. Right, so that's pretty much everything stripped except the door lock itself. So we're gonna get the door lock out now. Oh yeah, then we're gonna have to remove this chrome piece here. Door lock, chrome piece, and then we can move on to removing this bit here. Under these 2 rubber pieces are screws. Once I remove them, I'll be able to unscrew those screws, and hopefully the door will just lift off. I'll be able to put it to the side. We'll get this door on and then just put everything back together. Okay, so the lock was just held on by 2 screws and the actual cable going from the outside handle to the lock. The chrome part, it just basically popped off.
but I'm fiend to be. Did it on my own, ain't no team with me. I got green to see. What's a
then the 2 screws that were on the hinges, and the 1 screw that is holding the actual opening and closing function of the door.
Right, so I think that is everything that we need to take off, and now we can remove this door. Once we remove it, we get the other one on.
So yeah, when I was removing the door, I then realized that I need to open the front door because there just wasn't space.
Door is off. Yeah, maybe we should leave it like that. Get some nice free AC. Okay, so I guess it's time to put that one on.
So this time I didn't forget to open the front door before trying to fit the rear door because, well, when I was trying it off, you just can't get it off without the front door opened. Well, maybe you can, but you'd have to damage something.
Get that bread, I'm about mine. I got truce, it's just fine. Still got ties on both sides. Oh Lord, it's about time.
The new door is on, but we noticed a difference. So on the old door I have a rubber piece here, and on the new door, I just remove this. It has a different molding around it, so I think I'm gonna have to replace this part because the door seems to, well, maybe when the lock is on it'll be different, but yeah, we need to replace this so it all matches and looks the same.
So yeah, this was probably one of the worst parts of the actual job. To remove them 2 trims wasn't too hard, but the actual rubber pieces and everything else was just an absolute nightmare.
Alright, so figured out how to actually replace it. Removed this plastic that was on the inside here. There was a screw hold in this piece here, and now the rubber just pulls off. So I'm guessing we're gonna remove this fully, then remove it from this door and just swap it over. Okay, so we finally managed to get all these parts replaced. So the rubbers, all these rubbers are all from the old door. That was a pain in the ass to do, but we got it done. So now it's all matching. So now all that's left is to get everything back in the door. The window regulators, the motors, the sensors, the speaker, connect all the wiring looms, put the lock in, the plastic on, and that will be that finished. I'm happy with the color because, well, there isn't a big difference, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna need to adjust the door a little bit because, well, it doesn't seem to be 100% straight. Hopefully in the accident this part here didn't get bent and it'll be enough just to adjust them pieces. Okay, so let's continue refitting everything to the door that we removed from this door. So all the window regulators, motor, speaker, sensors, wiring loom, everything back in here. Then we get plastic back on, close the door, loosen these screws, and then try to adjust the door so all the gaps are nice and even all the way around. Let's get to work.
So yeah, I started by refitting the window regulator and I attached the motor, and then I realized that to actually attach the window to the regulator I need to move it up and down, which I can't do because the wiring loom is not even in the door yet. So unfortunately I had to remove the motor again to refit the window, and once I refitted the window to the actual regulator I then could install back the motor. So here I put on the motor for the second time. And then we move on to the lock, which was just the cable and the 2 screws holding it. When we fit the loom back, we'll hopefully not forget to plug it in. Here we fit the module back in, and then I start to fit back the wiring loom. So I connect it to the actual body of the car and then feed it all the way through the door, and hopefully putting it back into place so we can connect everything back up as it was.
Learn the game, turn my pain into dividends. Oh Lord, it's about time.
Here we plug the motor back in, then we can put in the module.
It's just fine. Still got ties on both sides. Oh Lord, it's about time.
So that's all the wires in for the lock, for the speaker, for the window regulator, for the module, for the door handle. The whole wiring loom is back in.
Okay, so the actual connector for the door handle lighting, I can't see the actual bulb. So what I need to do is try to turn on the ignition, lift up the window so I can get better access to that. And possibly we'll need to remove the actual light from that door and put it on in here. Right, so we know at least the window regulator works. And yep, I don't see anything in there. As you can see, this one here has a connector and a light going in there. So let's remove this and put it on the new door. Okay, so we've removed the handle. As you can see, it has a light here and here. And that's the cable that we're missing on the door handle that is in the door. So maybe the scrapyard just ripped it off or something like that. So yeah, this comes out pretty easy. There's one screw here. This pulls out and then just clips out. Probably one of the easiest door handles I've had to remove. Let's get it changed.
So yeah, I think I spoke too soon. It was not the easiest door handle that I've replaced. I've definitely replaced easier ones. This one was quite annoying. To take it out, it was quite easy, but then to refit it and have everything line up nicely and work properly, opening and closing, yeah, it took a little bit more than you can see here on this video.
California, thought you knew. Right at the top of Los Robles, what it do? Station wagon turn the caddy tires spin off. Can't be scared the thorn from the shoulders. Get off. Caught my first fade from Sadiq. It's a dime, took an L, but it's cool. Wasn't scared, so I'm fine. Ain't no looking like a bitch in front of dad and my mom, huh? Think a nigga saw because I'm quiet.
Alright, so I managed to get the handle in, so now it works. What I had to do was press it in here, and from the inside get the actual lever that opens and closes the door, push it all the way back, then insert the handle, and then let go of everything, and it just popped into place. So yeah, door opens and closes now. All that's left to do is put the cover in here, and that's it. The door from the outside is done. Here, what we need to do is put in this black cover that goes in here, this rubber trim here, which is still on this door. Once that is in, we can move on and get the plastic on. Once the plastic is on, that's it. Job done. Then we can try to align it somehow. As you can see, the color between the door and the rear quarter panel is a little bit different. But that's because the quarter panel is actually being resprayed at some point and not very well. It has like a yellow tint to it. But yeah, the front door hasn't been painted, so you see, nicely matched all the way around. But as I said, we're going to be respraying this car fully anyway, so that shouldn't be a problem.
So now just finishing up with the last pieces, slotted in the actual piece that holds in the handle. Then all that's left is to put the cover on it, and then that's it. The door from the outside is done. Then on the inside piece that we removed, I've applied some glue before refitting it because, well, some of the silicone pulled off when we removed it. So just to have a nice seal, I put some glue around it. Now for the rubber trim that holds the actual door panel on, we refitted the actual cables that plug into the buttons, the cable for the door handle, and then it was just a matter of clipping everything back in. Once it was clipped into place, I then refitted the 3 screws that were holding the whole door panel on. Got the trim piece now back on. And all that was left was to screw these 2 screws that were holding the actual door on the hinges.
Right, so finally the door is in. No more damage. Well, as you know, we still have the damage here, but as I mentioned before, we'll bring that to the professionals. So yeah, everything is looking well. Like the accident never happened. Now I can't wait to actually get this car resprayed. I think what I might do as well, because we are getting some bad weather in the next week or two, I think I might just take a quick look at the sunroof and see if the drain from the sunroof in the pillar isn't disconnected or anything. Because as I said, when it rains, I'm getting water coming down this side here and onto the floor. So I think what I need to do is open up the sunroof and pour some water in and see where it drips. Alright, now that the sunroof is opened, let's try to pour some water down there. It should come out of here, I'm pretty sure. But if it's coming off in here, then we know we need to remove this pillar here, and hopefully something is disconnected there. That's weird. That seemed like it was coming out of the door. Alright, let's pour some more in. So as you can see, there's a plastic circle grommet there, and the water is coming out perfectly. So I'm guessing the water isn't coming from the actual sunroof itself, because that drain is, well, as clean as can be. The only other thing I can think of is that it's coming through the front windscreen. So this part here, when I lift from the inside, it actually moves, and when I'm driving around 100 kilometers per hour, I can hear whistling coming in through here. So maybe the water is getting in here. Let's check underneath the bonnet. Alright, I poured some water in here. Don't seem to see anything. Let's pour some more water. Yeah, that's coming out as well. So the sunroof drain and the bonnet drain are all good. So that leaves me to think that the only issue is the actual windscreen itself. The windscreen I'm not gonna do myself because it's, well, cheaper and better for me to just bring it and get it done professionally. To redo the same window, take it out, reglue it, put it back, I think is like 50 euros. So I'd rather just pay the 50 euros and let the professionals do it, because I don't have the tools for it, and the actual glue, the silicone to stick the window down is quite expensive. I think like 30-40 euros. So yeah, just makes a lot more sense to get it done in the workshop instead of doing it yourself. Okay, so at least we fixed one thing today. The water leaking inside will be fixed by replacing the windscreen. Well, not replacing it, resealing it. And then in the next video, I think we're gonna go ahead and get the lights all dried up, tinted, and this one replaced. And then the back end will look a lot more smoother. I think we might also debadge it so there isn't any badges on the car. Might leave the Audi one, but get rid of the A6 and the 3.0T. And then we can maybe move on to the intake or the exhaust. So thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button and comment down below of what other mods we should do to the Audi. If you would like to support me and this channel, make sure to visit my Patreon account. The link is down below in the description. See you in the next video.
I ain't at war with myself, I just caught a truce. I pray to God to keep the peace, I still let it loose. Pasadena, California, thought you knew. Right at the top.